Hi, I'm Baruch Halevi, also known as B. Feel free to call me B. In these four short videos, I want to share with you the who I am, what I do, and why I do it. And that'll be two different videos, one on my podcast, 13 Minutes, Why Every Man Needs a Why, and the other on my newest book, The Guy in the Glass, 6 Questions to See the Man You Were Meant to Be. And I'm putting together these videos so that you have a 30,000 foot view of who I am, what I'm about, and you're coming onto my podcast potentially, or I'm coming onto your podcast potentially, or maybe you just want to get to know me. I look forward to getting to know you, and I'll keep my eye on the time. So, who am I? Well, first and foremost, I am a husband. My wife, Ariella, and I have been married for 28 years, the love of my life. Also, the mother of my 4 children, and my business partner. So, Ariella and I have 4 kids: Yehuda, who's 23 years old, Maya, who's 21, Shoshana, who is 19, and Aviv, who is 15, almost 16. Not easy to do without my iPhone. They're all here in Colorado with us. We live in Denver, Colorado. We've been here since 2018, and my 3 older kids are at the University of Colorado Boulder. One lives there and works with me. The 2 girls are in school there. So, wasn't born and raised in Denver, was born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska. I'm a Midwestern boy at heart, and ended up going to the University of Kansas, where I got a Bachelor of Arts degree in philosophy. And that's really when I started to, I think, go on a quest for knowledge, for ultimately what I like to think of as wisdom. And it started there, went into self-help, was really into Tony Robbins and Wayne Dyer, Earl Nightingale, Napoleon Hill. And that set me off on a course of wanting to understand more than just, the intellectual aspect of knowledge and wisdom, but emotional and into spiritual. That carried me off to New York City, where I went to try and find myself. And in that process, I met a lot of Buddhists who were born Jewish, and I was turned on to Buddhism. It really spoke to my soul in a way that my religion of upbringing, Judaism, just didn't at the time. And so I started practicing spiritual practice through Buddhism. That was my sort of orientation into it. Decided, though, that I needed to really explore my roots. So many Jews I were meeting were doing Buddhism that I thought, I'm going to go to the source. I'm going to go to Israel. And I went there for the first time, and I started studying Kabbalah. That's the mystical arm of Judaism. And I fell in love with my own tradition for the first time in Israel. I decided to become a rabbi and pursue studies full-time. A rabbinic title is an academic degree, essentially, and I just wanted the knowledge. I didn't know if I was going to actually be a rabbi, but I wanted to study, and that's what I did. Stayed there for a while, then found a school that I really identified with in Los Angeles, left Israel to go to Los Angeles, where I was finally ordained as a conservative rabbi in 2002. During that time, I met Ariella in Los Angeles and obviously fell in love, got married, wanted to be a rabbi, and became a synagogue or pulpit rabbi. My first job was in Des Moines, Iowa, beautiful little congregation there for about 5 years. And then after that, essentially got recruited to go to Boston to merge 2 dying synagogues and help them reimagine themselves in the 21st century, and did that for another 10 years. Loved it while I did it, was raising a family, was really living a great life, but no longer felt called, no longer felt drawn to that particular path. I wanted to explore more of my entrepreneurial side. I have an entrepreneur spirit, and decided I was going to start a few companies, at least one at the time, which morphed into others. And also knew that I was done being a rabbi, certainly a pulpit rabbi. I just didn't really feel like it was mine anymore. I loved aspects of it. I didn't like the politics. I didn't like a lot of the things that came along with the studies, or most importantly, the interaction with people. I loved being a counselor. I got a doctoral degree during that time as a pastoral counselor, and really fell in love with just guiding people through life. And so did that, but wasn't, all that interested in doing it for a particular brand or religion or coloring inside the lines. I teach what's called the Enneagram. I'll talk more about it in another video. And that is a personality typing system, if you will. I sort of identify with an Enneagram 8, a challenger. if I would have known this, I probably never would have signed up for organized religion. I like to disorganize. I like to disrupt. I like to then put it back together, I think stronger and better, having challenged the assumptions. Well, organized religion, pulpit rabbi, did that, enjoyed it, learned a lot from it, decided to move on, went through this entrepreneurial process and also learned a lot, but I also learned I'm not a business person. At the end of the day, I'm a guide. I love walking beside people, what I call through life's T's, transitions, tests, trials, traumas, tragedies. And so I went back to school, got a diplomate in logotherapy, talk more about in the next video. That's the work of Viktor Frankl. Logos means meaning. So meaning-centered psychotherapy, counseling, and coaching, bringing all those things together into my current practice, which is called Halevi Coaching and Counseling and Consulting.